Good morning, everyone. Drew says hi. Get
Hello.
your face in there and say hi.
No, not today.
Oh, not today, huh? That's because you're not wearing your flashies.
Yeah, I'm wearing gray. Not
Gray.
colorful.
Gray. Gray.
Gray.
Sky gray. You need blue, man.
Right.
Yellow, blue, color. Good morning,
Remember,
everyone.
Grown men wear pink.
Huh. Grown men can wear pink.
Of course
I'll
they can.
wear pink.
Bring
I'm
it in
not
then.
afraid of pink. Are you kidding? Oh. Hi, everyone. How you doing this morning? I hope you're doing well. Thank God I'm starting to catch up on these videos and things. And so we're going to have some really important cases here to talk to you about. And then we got a few eyes that came in here. So we're going to kind of do both this morning. Had another no-show, and so this gives me an opportunity to be with you. All right, so let's go over some of these things. Thank you, Tracy McCord. Tracy McCord gets a 5 gold stars today. He answered these questions, or she, right on. Absolutely. Blood pH is 7.4. You know, in some medical circles, 7.2 is considered acidic. Get this, 7.2 is considered acidic, and 7.55 is considered alkalosis. Interesting, huh? You don't see much of a waiver, do you? So if you looked at the pH, if you think about chemistry and the laws of homeostasis, where homeostasis is the balancing of energetics, like water always seeks a balance. Energy always seeks a balance. You take a wheel and spin it 100 miles an hour, and you take a wheel and spin it 10 miles an hour, and when you put them together, they'll start spinning the same. That's physics. And so when you look at this and you start eating foods in the lower 5 pHs and 6 pHs, you can see the effect on the blood. They really pull it down to balance out the chemistry, and it'll bring that pH down. That's why eating the alkaline, predominantly a base or alkaline food, is essential to maintaining good blood chemistry, in my opinion. The high protein consumption is what thickens, if we could use that word, thickens and makes the blood more anionic. And this is obvious. So this is why the theories by the most well-known biochemists about anionic atmospheres from acidic pHs, to me, is factual, even though at a certain pH they're more corrosive and they create more of a cationic environment. I think it all is just periods of time, the levels of pHs, all these cofactors and all these issues. Enough to say, though, that in looking at base chemistry, and this is also true on the other side, because what we have out there, and we do that just to cut through the crap, alkalize, 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 alkalize or die, those sort of consciousnesses. The thing is balance. And we've talked about balance on this site a great deal, and you will all come to realize balance is essential in wellness, but is essential in maintaining integrity of thought and emotions. And you see that in detoxification. This is why sometimes you have to pull people back to a sense of balance, because they're coming from a rear-end position of highly acidic foods, highly congestive foods, and you're taking them to the top of the mountain. Well, we do that because we have suffering people that suffered for years and stuff. So there can be bumps depending on how toxic a person is. There can be bumps till you get to that healthy environment. Just because of the level of toxicity, the level of protein consumption, people have to get over this idea of proteins. You've got to bury a hole and throw that protein in there, because this is really the bottom line to why man suffers, is way, way, way too much protein. The amino acid structure of fruits are perfect for man, and notice they're not heavy amino acid structures. You go to vegetables if you want to build a lot of muscle on you, because they're more what? Heavy amino acid structures. Anything with the structure is amino acids. That's what makes up structure. Now, so this guy or gal, urine pH is below 6s. The low 6s, and exactly the low 6s is perfect with cloudy urine. Great, and real quick. I mean, these are easy questions, and I just wanted to throw something out of you. I promised that I would have this, but I'm going to... This weekend, I'm going to get so tough on you guys. I want to see what you do. And you have symptoms when you create them and when you detoxify them out of the body. Absolutely. And this is very important that you remember these issues. And for people that are detoxifying, I look forward to it. Anywhere I had a weakness and I saw there was discomfort in an area, I'm going, yeah, all right, it's healing. We got to get the positive side because so many people are dragging negative. They're dragging their cure is negative. Everything's negative. They're always complaining. You got to turn this to the positive side. Grab a hold of your world. You be the boss of your world, not your emotions, not your mind. Those babies can flutter anywhere, and anybody can control them. So you've got to get back to the position of being the headmaster of your world and control that, control the way you see things, and just plow through it. Bring the God force into you and be strong with your focus on your body and make your body do what you want it to do. But you're also going to bring in all the stuff your body needs to do it. You're going to come in and you want to think of how many cells does your body have. Currently, I think it's 100 trillion. It was 80 trillion when I went to school, 76 trillion. So we're up to 100 trillion cells in the human body. And if you can picture a smiley face, putting a smiley face on every cell in your body. And if you want to get well, just picture every cell with a little smiley face. And you just use your mind. When you're in a position of control, you can use your mind to the extent you would like. Good job. The four main processes are digestion, absorption, utilization, and elimination. These are very important to remember because your client, your patient, whatever field you're in, is not going to get well and have super dynamic health until these four things are accomplished. Digestion, obvious. You must digest your foods. Pancreatic, hepatic liver, gut, GI tract, stomach. All those have to be in a state of health. Absorption, lymphatic, remember interstitial lymphatic constipation. So you must be able to absorb your nutrition. You don't absorb your nutrition? Well, you already know what that is. Out the door. Undigested foods in your stools. Pancreatic or hepatic. You're not digesting your foods. Then utilization, and don't ever forget this, guys, utilization. And this is where deficiencies, the Bashir and all these people, they don't get it. You must utilize your nutrition, and you can't utilize your nutrition without what? That should be one of the next questions. You cannot utilize your nutrition without what? Tracy, I want you to get back with me. You cannot utilize your nutrition without what? And then I'll write that down so don't forget it. Can't utilize your nutrition without what? Okay, now, good job, Tracy. Now, this is Coconut Bev. I haven't talked to you in a while, Coconut Bev. Hey, honey. Beverly here from Canada. I am wondering what you would do for mouth cancer. Good question. The reason I'm doing this real quick is because the importance of your questions you have asked me today, and I think this is real important. Heal All Tea. Start out with it a little mild and work it up to being stronger and stronger and stronger. More tea, less water. And I would just all through the day rinse my mouth out, spit it out. Take a swig, hold it in my mouth, and rinse it out. Now it's going to be real strong. There's some strong astringents in the Heal All Tea. There's also some healing power, and there's plantain to pull. You could add to this Heal All Tea any lymphatic you would want, like lymph node 2 liquid. Put it in the tea, and then do that. You could also add a kidney 1 in there liquid. Add those in there and let it absorb because boy, that'll hit the body quick. At the same time, you gotta start at the bottom. You gotta start at the bottom of the tree. The roots go right into the kidneys. You gotta get the kidneys. You gotta get the adrenals. You gotta GI broom, stomach and bound, whatever. Lymphatic 1 capsules. Start moving this bowel. Because this is part of your bowels. Believe it or not, it's just the opposite end of that hole. So this can't go anywhere without everything down below being cleaned up. You can understand, as we stack on top, you can't get this clean. That's why in homeopathy, it isn't head down. It's closest to the kidneys. Closest to the kidneys first, and then you start climbing. You'll see that when you detoxify several thousand people. You'll start seeing what comes first. You start seeing that. So real important. This is real important. Obviously, fruits, berries, and melons. Bev, this is a case where this person needs to get right to it. Someone I know has just been diagnosed with mouth cancer, and he has a large tumor that is spreading. The cancer people are going to cut out the tumor. That is not going to be fun for this guy, and may or may not give radiation. Now, I know that that is only a Band-Aid, and it will come back worse if it does not change their diets. Well, this is number one. Number two, you're radiating the head. There's no way, even 3D, there's no way this isn't going to get some. So, if he does that, or she, he's got to plow the field heavy and hard. Because when you're already involved with a tumor, guess what? Think about this. What system is backed up all through your body? That could be another question. And when you have a tumor, what system is backed up and how much is it backed up? Tracy? I already know you know that answer. Absolutely. You've got a tumor. Your blood isn't backed up. It's your lymph that's backed up. Your interstitial fluid. Your interstitial fluid can't go anywhere with the lymph, right? That's the lymph, and that's the lymph nodes and everything else. So this person really needs to rethink their strategy, because when the medical doctors get a hold of you with cancer in the head, it is not pretty. It's just not pretty. They're seeking clear margins. They're doing everything they can, and they'll take your whole face off if they have to, take your whole mouth off, your whole jaw off. No. It isn't a lot of fun. So this is a lot better to try to hit this as hard as you can. GI broom, stomach and bowel. Go after that GI tract. Get this open so this can drain at the same time. Boy, I'd be definitely sucking on the teeth to see if I can get that baby to pop or to pull out the mouth. That's why you want to spit out everything all the teeth and get more. Would or can you put the black salve in the mouth on the tumor? Oh, boy, I wouldn't. No friggin' way. You would put it here on the outside. You would never put it in the mouth. There's no way. You would want to put it on here because it's interstitial. The tumor's coming from inside where the cells are. That's where the problems are. So you would want to pull a tumor through the jaw or whatever. I would not do that yet. I would definitely hit this, grab this, and I don't care what they think. You just, about diet, you either say, oh, I can eat a few fruits for a few months, or I can go eat what I want and then have my face taken off. When you break it down to, these are my possibilities, you really want to get them in order, and I think the medical doctor should be honest. If we take it out, could be a problem, but it's all we know. That's the statement from a medical doctor. Naturopaths. We'll pull, we'll yank, we'll get the lymph system working, we'll pull that out if we can. So if we can't, we can always go back to the medical and do that radical site. But boy, it was so much better if you do this the right way. And you have to anyway, because just like Bev says here, you're going to grow a tumor back. That's not the answer. You've got to deal with this. If it's too big, absolutely you got to do something. But I would rather do a little radiation 3D to the tumor while I'm hitting it hard. Because remember, a tumor is not a living being. A tumor isn't a living being. It is a pocket of what? Fluid. It's a pocket of fluid. What kind of fluid would you think is in a tumor? Interstitial, blood and lymph. Sometimes just lymph and sometimes blood and lymph. Interstitial fluid. So, hugs and loves to you too, dear. But definitely get your friends to listen to this video and get going, because they're in trouble. And this is not fun. And it needs to get to that. You can topically, this is what's nice about the location, you can topically get to it. You can pull from the outside, but that should be the last resort. If I'm facing, and this is to the FDA, if I'm facing a surgical removal of cancer on my face, or I have the option of using the black salve, I'll take one of you guys from the FDA with a tumor in your face, and I'll show you the difference. It's a huge difference. And I can tell you, black salve is not the problem. It is people's lymphatic systems. Quit blaming herbs and start blaming the people. You're blaming the wrong thing, and at the same time you're allowing deadly pharmaceuticals. Big problem here is that the black salve is a lot better than surgery. every time. And if that can't get it, then by all means walk up to the surgeon. He'll take care of it. The black salve is always the better choice, in my opinion. It always is. Now, there might be a case where I'd eat that word, but I tell you, what I've seen, and if that can't get it, then you're in trouble, and you do have to have a surgical intervention. But you've done everything you can to fix this properly, and you should never stop fixing while you have it. Just remember that. When you have tumors, you must stop and fix this, because they'll just keep growing them. Can't just keep cutting out tumors. Okay, this is Adam, 24, from Australia. Go Australia, go Adam. I would like to start by first thank you, Adam, for the positive thoughts. I appreciate that very much. It helps us positive, and it keeps you positive, and it keeps us all positive, and the world will see us as a strong, positive force to be reckoned with, because we're healers. We speak truth. You know what's hard with someone that's a crook, to deal with people that speak truth? Real hard. Real hard. It's hard to deny truth. Now, I have a chronic fatigue. This young man has had chronic fatigue and chronic eczema, was born with it. Wow, which shows you length, but you're going to see why here in a minute. And I currently, I'm almost done and then we'll jump to that. I currently live in Vietnam, where my dad is supporting me and helping me to get well. Thanks, Dad. Good man. I have been detoxing for 6 months on high fruit and 4 months with the God's herbs that I buy from you guys, and it's all getting well. So thank you, thank you. This is about his mom. And his lovely mom, she has been battling. And his mom, Julia, is only 52 years old. She's got a messed up lymph system immediately, because you know why. We have eczema, don't we? We know that's not a blood problem with this lad. This is a lymphatic problem with this lad. So, and he came right out of mom. So poor mom dealing with that here. And if you have lymphatic problems, what two other problems are you going to have? Kidneys and adrenals, always, always. Why? Because they control that system. See, it's that easy. She has been battling chronic fatigue for about 10 years, and she's been working hard to support her and her brother, or him and his brother. Finally, in '08, she just completely broke down physically and mentally. She's been permanently disabled right now. Well, let's get Mom fixed up. Mom has to go to the, Mom, you got to go to the raw foods. You got to get to the fruits. You're in Vietnam, please. You got to get to the raw foods, sweetheart. You got plenty there. You can really get yourself together in Vietnam. So really take off after this. Get your health back. You should be eating mostly fruits anyway over there. She's been sick for a long time. Now what? Often throwing up after meals. Terrible stomach pain. Chronic fatigue, depression, anxiety, and eczema and psoriasis. But of course, the son has it, the mom's got it. So, what are we into here? Anxiety, where are we at? Adrenals, depression, parathyroid, extreme fatigue, adrenals and thyroid, both weaknesses. She probably has both weaknesses. Suspicion, work on her pituitary as well. Hit her adrenals real hard. Get that, the organic, pure adrenal. When you have this chronic of adrenals, the glandulars, I'm telling you, use the glandulars if you're not, you know, if it's not against your belief system. Now, chronic stomach pain. Uh-oh. So her lymph system is backed up where? In the wall of her stomach, in the wall of her small and large bowel. This lady's backed up lymphatically all through her. Her adrenals are down, her thyroid is down. So we really want to get in there and wake everybody up, no question. Get her kidneys working, get her adrenals up there, and she's got to do the same thing you got to do, Adam. And your moms just have to get with this. Mom, you got to get with this, because it's your life. You're only 52 years old. You got to change your thinking. You're in the perfect place to do it, Vietnam. So you really get on those fruits and really tear this apart. And over the past year, she has lost her will to live as she continues to get worse with no positive results. Well, medical doctors can't. And she's, look at this. She's been to homeopaths. She's been to naturopaths. She's been to Chinese herbalists. That's what I'm telling you guys. You know the secrets of the highest order of healing. I respect that, and this is what we need. All these doctors could not help his mom. That's ridiculous. That is ridiculous. But this is what's going on out there. So, Adam, you got to get your mom to this higher level of thinking. You got to get in and have someone help you. Drew's here listening to this, so you got to help, and you can contact Drew if you want to here. but you really need to get her on the glandulars for the adrenals. I would say a pituitary glandular, definitely hit the parathyroid here, but you want to get in there with the GI broom because she could have stomach cancer. She probably doesn't go to docs much. Oh, well, she's been to these, so I don't know. But I'll say this, let's get those acids out of that gut before she ends up with gut cancer. That'd be very important, although stomach cancer is one of your easiest to cure. Can I use that word? Because cancer isn't a disease and da-da-da-da-da. She believes in the detox process but struggles to do the diet and continues to eat a bit of meat and grains. Stop it, Mom. Right now. Stop it till you get well and then go back. Okay, Mom, but get yourself well. Her adrenals are so down. No kidding. Poor thing. She worked herself to death and everything else. But she was already genetically weak. You could tell that. She needs the meat to live. And the reason she needs the meat to live, and this is why, you guys, glandulars in this case is very important, because she's looking for a neurotransmitter. She's so weak that she needs that meat for neurotransmitters. There's no question. You put her on a fruit diet, she's going to crash. Well, we have to buffer that crash. The herbs are not strong enough to buffer this type of crash. They aren't. So we really have to use the glandulars on her, and I would use the 400s. 400 milligrams. Hit this lady 1-3 times a day, and then go up from there if you have to. Hit her pituitary just in case there's that connection, because she's got a thyroid and parathyroid weakness with that. So she's eating the meat to support herself. Remember, I told you I did that when I poisoned myself because I could breathe better. I can just tell you, without neurotransmitters, you can't take a deep breath. You're struggling to breathe. That's your adrenal glands. And neurotoxins will shut that down. Well, listen, when you can't breathe, you're looking for anything. I don't care what your belief system is. When I hold your breath and you can't breathe, you'll do anything to breathe, guaranteed. That's just this life in the fast lane. So this is where we have to work appropriately and spot on to get this lady back. She's been to all these docs. Let's show her the highest way of healing herself and getting herself back on that. And this is the problem with herbs. Now here, let's see. She has a small pension, can hardly buy the herbs. Well, talk to Drew. Drew, go back to our pantry and see what's left back there. There was some bottles from boxes that had got broken and stuff, so we have discolored labels and stuff, but the herbs are just the same. So we have a repertoire. We can help her a little bit. So important to get your mom turned around. I don't care what this is. I really do feel bad asking for charity. Well, we're here to help you, so we'll do our very best to help. And we'll see what we got back there for. But call Drew there, Adam, and we'll get this up today so you'll get this as soon as you can. If you can get about $100 per month from my mom to buy herbs from you, it is possible to put together some free or even cost items for her. We will. We'll do that for you. I was thinking she would need, now this is Adam, I was thinking she'd need 2 times kidney and bladder 1, 2 of the adrenal glands. Now, we want the big adrenals, Parasite M, and some Heal All T. Well, I'm going to get her a little harder than that. So, we'll make up a package for her. I'll write this down. We'll make up but you have to call them. I would be great if you would let me know what you think about her condition and what herbs she should use on the YouTube if it is possible. You want well, we'll set that up. Just get a hold of Drew there. I've got his email there. He's from Australia, so I got his email. What I'll do, Drew, is give this to you after I write it up, and then have it in case he calls you. Or you get a hold of him through the email and just say, hey, we'll put this up on this YouTube. Well, all right, so we're pretty done caught up here that way. So let me see. This is, okay, I'll build this case later. Is that lady with the tumor coming in? She's here or no? Okay, so check on that for me. I want to see that tumor. We're going to pop that baby. I think she's, okay. You want to talk to him a minute while I check on the tumor? No? Well, let's get this ready to do the eyes here, and I'll just pop in real quick. We'll get this ready and cover the eyes. Which one you want to do first? Let's do the top one first. Mm-hmm. Okay, so you want to get that ready for me. Let me check on this tumor, and we'll be good.
I think that's it.
Yeah. Okay,
Right.
there we go. Sorry to keep everybody waiting. But her lymph nodes are way down. And we have one on the road to being well, Bill. Perfect.
They're back to back. I think there's one behind
One behind
Yeah,
it? Okay.
so
who do we have here? Is this Oh, this is from New Zealand. Do we have a name on this? It's a dear friend of mine's eyes who have taken lots of drugs in his life. I can see that he has strong constitution, but he's very toxic, lots of lymph stagnation. Do you think it's possible for him to detox just on raw? He's 50 years old. About 70% raw for the last 2 years. Previously had SAD diet. How serious is drug settlement in the tissues? Well, it can be. Depends what type of drugs. Does that mean that the corresponding areas or organs not functioning are just sluggish? Probably just sluggish. It is harder to clean up these drug deposits than healing lacunas. No. Well, no. And yes, sulfur likes to stick. But I think it's easier to get rid of drug deposits than to rebuild tissue. Now, this is the right eye. What we see here, of course, is all the orange and the drug deposits he's talking about here. You see all these drug deposits, you're spot on. See, I love these guys on YouTube. They're getting smart, they're getting trained. I love this. This is the collarate. Collarate means collar around the pupil. That's your GI tract, that collarate. Stomach wrapping around the pupil, and then your bowels. And this is in the wall. Now, you'll see a faint brown ring around this pupil, malabsorption. And that's what that's getting, and that's what that does. You know this is a high fungal case. You know this is a blue eye. You can see up here under the skin, and this could be a little faint cholesterol right up here. You see that little translucence, but this is the subcutaneous tissues. When you see the lymph node bed around here, this isn't the lymph system like it's put on the charts. This is the lymph node system. The lymph is all through. The lymph nodes are out here. And then you have, and they're right locked in with the subcutaneous tissues, and then you have your epidermis and dermis around the outside here. So you'll classically see someone with a skin ring. You'll see this subcutaneous, which is just under the skin, 2 layers under the skin. You have a backing up of sewage. Now, this isn't bad, but it's still there, and you need to clean that and get these lymph nodes popping and a-hopping. You can tell this is years and years in the making because see how this orange is being pulled to the lymph nodes. See that? And that's real suggestive that even in the bowel wall, cell waste must hit the lymph nodes first. Well, if you're thinking of cell waste in a 3 pH scenario, you wouldn't want it to hurt the bowel wall. So obviously everything moves, and I often wonder if this is not true with the bladder and the kidney itself, because you must enter a lymph node system for the bacteria and the macrophages to be there for its jobs. Now, over here, right side, this is the throat. So he's going for a sore throat here. The fact that you see an eye full of blood vessels like this, look at all the blood vessels in the sclera. This guy is extremely acidic. This looks like a very sick eye, a very acid case. Good strong genes, though, for the most part. You good take. This is throat, this is thyroid, and look at that parathyroid. There's a perfect little parathyroid weakness. This person needs to take care of this thyroid and parathyroid weakness. We come up here, and what do we got? Pituitary. So pituitary, thyroid, parathyroid. Here's the adrenals and kidneys. But here's the bladder. Here's the lower back. You'll have to have him call back. I'm shooting the video.
How long?
20 minutes, maybe a half hour. Maybe make it a half hour.
You want us to call him when you're done?
Yeah, tell him we'll call him when we're done. This is his daughter, 20-some years old, massive stroke.
So and this is the reality of it all.
This is the reality, exactly. This is the reality of it.
This just happens throughout the day.
Yeah, constant. Yeah. And I tell you, this is a poor young girl, massive stroke, and we're trying to get her back.
How old is she?
20-some.
Wow.
Massive stroke, and we're trying to get her back. And so it's just, doing everything we possibly can. So just, this is going to be the groin. So you have a real big groin weakness. Real difficult here. Want to be real careful about lifting things too much. Get to that parathyroid. When you see a parathyroid weakness, you're going to be picking up things like this. Connective tissue and skeletal. So look at the back. We got a little weakness all the way down the back. A little weakness all the way down, particularly from the T-spine down. And then we have the kidneys, we have the bladder. Now that's a real weak bladder right there. A little hip, tad bit of pancreas, but look at the gallbladder. That gallbladder is not happy whatsoever. We need to get into that gallbladder, or he does, and fix it up, clean it up, get it going. Notice how it kicks into the bowel wall, though. You got to clean the bowel wall. See, that's what people don't realize. That's why our detoxes are designed the way they are. You must simultaneously start cleaning all the eliminative organs. If you want to eliminate, clean the eliminative organs. It's about how that goes. A little spot up in the brain right here. Oh, I mean, this is up in the ear. You have some congestion in the right ear, little right shoulder. This little congestion is in the upper lobe of the right lung. This is in the lower lobe of the right lung. Got a little lower chest wall issue here. If this was a female, her right breast would have a lot of lymph in it, so it really needs to get that kidney to drain this whole thing. That leg's got a lot of lymph. Notice these lacunas, though. Notice the lymph around the wall, and this is what you typically see, lymph that's backing up in the wall of weak tissue. And maybe that's because in nature, weaknesses are terminated, and maybe that's the end goal of this, is to terminate the organ so the body can rebuild it. However, interesting to terminate a whole organ and then have the body try to rebuild it before the person dies. I don't know all what nature thinks. Well, you got these right on, man.
Spot on. Yeah, tack down. Look at that.
Yeah, man.
There you go.
There you go. Same thing on this eye, but see all this. You know, this is just a really highly acidic person. All these blood vessels are stressed to the max and spastic. So you really got a lot of acids, my friend. You got to get a hold of this. This whole left leg is weak. Here's your kidneys, the rectal wall. Look at this. Now, we're not mapping this off just the way we need to. This is probably bladder. It's either bladder or prostate. Looks more bladder to me. But then we still have a little prostate here. So this is, if this is a male, this is a prostate or bladder. If it's a female, then it's going to be uterus or it's going to be bladder. That's a little decay right there. And I think that's going to be bladder, lower back, some mid back, and then we're right back to the throat. Now this is more to the parathyroid level, and this guy has got some major parathyroid weaknesses. That are real important to fix that up because of connective tissue and bone suffering.
I see the violet ring, too.
Yeah, do you see that? A little violet ring developing. That's circulation problems, and that'll start happening, and you start to see that faint translucent, particularly on the right side. So that's cholesterol, in other words, and you have to be careful. The more acidic you are, the more your body's going to be ravished of calcium, and with this parathyroid, you can't put it back, and of course, the more plaquing of lipids to try to fight acids. All this is to keep the acid-base balance of the human body. Okay.
What do we have here?
Next up, they attended the last class. This is Chad, 35-year-old male, 5 foot tall, 120 pounds. So he's tall and slender.
Hello, Chad.
Chad?
Once again, yep.
Chadman. Now, he's got pretty strong genes, but his fibers are a little loose. And a lot of times when I see fibers loose, I'm going right here. What's that right there? It's at, let me see, where are we here? We're at 3, so it's at 230.
Not a lung. It's not a lung.
Right side. Here's the lungs on the right side over here.
Oh, yeah.
What's right there? And it's connected to thyroid. This is parathyroid. And right here. Now, when you see the parathyroid, even these fibers start to get wavy.
Yeah.
And when they start to get too wavy, I'm going to be looking at connective tissue. All right, and when these get wavy, connective tissue, you're going to go right here, and every time you're going to see a lacuna. Now notice that there's a lot of white around this lacuna. See all that white? There's white around that lacuna. There's white around that lacuna. There's white around... In other words, what we see in weakened areas, you have a compromised interstitial fluid flow, and this is just what you're seeing. And what that does is actually exacerbate the weakness. And continues to make these areas weaker. You don't have problems in your healthy tissues. You're always going to have problems where you're weak. I don't know why medical doctors can't friggin' just get this. Tonsils here, just a little bit of weakness here if you still have them. This is your upper neck area here, your C-spine, tap into the T-spine, and this is your L-spine. Maybe a lot of lymph in the mid-back here. You get down here, here's your adrenals here. So that adrenal, Chad's not real happy. See that puppy? That's not real happy. Kidney's not so bad, but still a little weak. This is your prostate, Chad. Get that out. See all that? See that white around the prostate gland? It's gonna break down that prostate gland.
And that can lead to?
That can lead to prostate cancer and little Winky not going anywhere quick.
Chad knows this.
Yeah, Chad knows this.
Chad knows this.
Chad, we know you know it. Oh, maybe upper femur a little bit here. As I move to the hip, right here's the little right hip, and boy, we're into the pancreas and the right testicle. Sorry, Chad. And here's the gallbladder. We don't like that friggin' puppy.
We're going to call him out.
I wonder if he still has it. Look at that thing. That's not a happy gallbladder. I'm pretty sure that's a gallbladder. I'd be in there and getting that taken care of, Chad. Get that up, clean the liver up here. Yeah, up here, we're up here in the ear medulla. Same thing, medulla. Little okay, we're kind of barking up here on the cerebellum, but this is the medulla. Still could yield some equilibrium things. This is a good, strong gene guy. I mean, he's good, strong genes, but here's the pituitary. Might be why he's 6 foot. See, that's your gland of growth. And see all that again? Chad, this is all sinus up here. See all this white? So you've really got to break this bowel. See how this bowels are doing this? And big hump and then down and down. See how that Humpty Dumpty Dumpty? Parathyroid. The connective tissue that holds the bowel in place is weak. So you're getting prolapsing of the bowel. See how big that's prolapsed? And this is ballooned. This is the hepatic flexure here. And this is the ballooning of the bowel, but it's impacting the prostate. You really got, this is near the ileocecal valves, Chad. You really got to clean up your bowels here. Little weaknesses in the stomach too. This is a malabsorption ring, but you see the interstitial lymphatic constipation around the bowel wall. Not real heavy, but still there. Where are we here? There's a lymph node. And there's a lymph node. Here's a lymph node. Here's a lymph node.
Wow, they're highly noticeable.
Here's a lymph node.
Right?
Yeah.
Look at that.
Not bad. They do show up. But not bad. But they're there. You see how thick that is.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this one, pretty thick. All right, this is Chad's left eye. Wow. Pretty eye. But you see how these fibers are a little loose, and we're going back to the parathyroid. Look what we see here, Chad. Another parathyroid. So pretty much evidence that you have a parathyroid weakness. That'll actually straighten these fibers out a little bit. Look at the, this might be iodine or something else. Look at the sulfur here. A little bit of sulfur around, and then I don't know what this is. Could be iodine, could be something else. Now look at this. This is, let me see here. We've got you got your knee here, your left knee. We got this whole matrix here is kidney and adrenals. I'm going to say that it's hard to determine this because this is probably your kidney. And if it is, no matter if this is kidney, I think this is the rectal wall here. And then you have a lot of lymph in the prostate, and then you get into the bladder here. But there is a little decay starting in this kidney. See how deep and black that is? That would be called a crypt or a deep dark spot.
Simple.
In the country. Oh, it's like a big black spot. Yep, but you see all this connection of the lymph here, just tying everything together, gluing everything together here. And again, we see that same bowel structure thing. Just this lymph, a lot of congestion in the stomach wall, a little burning on the stomach. See that darkness right immediately around the pupil? Always look immediately around the pupil. And if you see some darkness, you know they're burning their stomach a little bit here. We go back to the other eye. We see the pancreas. Pancreas might not be producing enough bicarbonate for Chad. Here's the pancreatic weakness. Might not be giving enough bicarbonate for Chad. And therefore he's burning the stomach a little bit when he was doing protein. Hard to say, it's just guessing. Over here, cerebellum, equilibrium, not much, but there are some things. The ear here, little inflammation going on and a weakness. You pick up little spots here. Might never fill them. If you never got your act together, though, you might. Bronchial trunks a little bit here. Not bad. Not bad. Good.
Look at this one.
I thought we weren't going to do any more eyes.
There you go.
Yeah. The color, this is why a good camera is so important. Now, obvious, we don't have to have perfect eyes to do it at this level. But if you really wanted to get a good look, you would want to get as much of the correct color as possible. Now, look, one thing about the way this picture was taken is you really see the lymph system and how it is gluey, sticky, and has glued everything together. Look at all this white stuff or yellow stuff all over. Yellow is subacute. You have your acute, subacute, chronic, and degenerative. Acute is when you're creating something for the first time, like drinking a milkshake and getting a sore throat. You got mucus. You can either expectorate the mucus eating some fruit, or you can go get a shot of penicillin because somehow you might have got
oh no,
that kind of ridiculous bull crap thinking, and suppress it, and then you start moving to subacute, which starts to turn the eye yellow. Thick, this is a cholesterol ring more than likely. Really thick up here. You got to watch this, whoever this is. Let me read this. Could Dr. Morse please discuss Matt's eyes on YouTube? I hope Matt okays this. If the image quality is high enough, Matt is 36-year-old male with a history of low thyroid, low energy, low libido, vitiligo, dry skin and on forehead and eyebrows, sweet cravings, high triglycerides, bun 15, creatinine 0.99. So we're at 1 creatinine. He's losing his kidneys. This is Tracy in California. This must be Tracy's old man. Well, I hope he's not too mad, Tracy, but let's go over his eyes here. This is a classic stomach ring. See this perfect stomach ring? It's a perfect circle around the pupil. Perfect. I love it. But it shows high acidosis. Obviously, he's got a lot of fungal problems, sweet cravings, but this looks a little orangish to me. Now, it might not be. This is not an appropriate color picture, so I can't tell you right now. It looks orange. I don't think all this is sulfur. I think it's just the take of the camera. There is some hints of orange in places, so this is a candida eye anyway. Now, take a look at this. This is the right eye. Look at the massive kidney weakness right here. This person, Matt's got real big kidney weakness, a right knee weakness right here. The ankle is not real good either, and the foot here. Here's the groin. The appendix could be a lot happier. You're moving to the left hip. Now you're moving into the, right hip, right testicle. Now, this is probably gallbladder. You just have a lot of work, Matt, to get your lymph system cleaned up. Now, with a better picture, this might not be so deep, and these might not be so problematic. So just remember, Matt, I'm really looking at an eye that you could get me a better eye, and I could really, it probably would change the color somewhat and everything, and maybe the depth of these. But this really brings out the depth of these lacunas. This is all bronchial trunks through here. Your lungs are congested mid-lobe here. Now this is something. You guys send these to me, so you're going to have to take the way I do this, okay? Mm-hmm. So Tracy, don't get mad here, or Matt. But Dr. Jensen, he had this thing. He would only tell people 4 things. That was his pat thing. I'm only going to tell them 4 things. It's really wrong with them because people will freak out. Well, we're doing a study on the YouTube, so I'm gonna go all through the eye. This is in the brain area. This has got to be handled. This isn't good. See how dark that is up there? This is important to get up in the brain. You want upper circumbrain and nerve. At the same time, you've got to clean up these bowels. Now, notice how big these bowels go out. These bowels go way out here. They go way out. But you've got to get up in the brain. There's a couple spots up here. This forehead is really bad up here. Mm-hmm. You have to get up there and start rebuilding your body. Matt, you got to make health your focus here. This is probably a major parathyroid weakness. It looks like it's on the outside of the bowel collarate. That's major parathyroid. Well, that fits in. That's your thyroid, parathyroid area. I can see how you would have low libido with all that. Now, vitiligo. This is all pituitary. This pituitary is one ball of mucus. The problem with this, you can grow a pituitary tumor real easy right here. So you've got to get up in there and start moving your lymph system. Skin is very weak here. This is the person that needs to make health their issue. Now, I say that, we get another eye, it could look more like this. It could. Make it look more like that. That's why having the best eye and the best colors and everything you can get is real important in looking at this. Enough said, though, these are all weaknesses. How weak they are depends on the proper colorations and stuff. But this one is obvious. It sticks out like a sore thumb. So, Matt, you got to take care of this. And he's probably a young lad. Oh, he's 36 years old. Now, again, look at Matt's sclera. Very acidic, obviously. I gather from this, Tracy, your husband or boyfriend here doesn't eat good. Look at all this. Look at all this. A lot of inflammation in this lad. Again, we're way back here. These are all disturbingly, but this is parathyroid too. This gentleman's got parathyroid, and here's a major thyroid weakness. See that? Of course he's got thyroid. He's got adrenals and thyroid, so he doesn't have any energy, no question. He's got a better kidney on this side, on the left side. Here's the hip, though, the groin, the leg again, the lower leg, all these areas like that. Got to get up in this head of yours, Matt. This is cerebellum. This is your equilibrium dizzy center, and I can't imagine you not having had some vertigo, dizziness, equilibrium problems by now. Front forehead again, tonsil area, thyroid area, throat area, back. Here's the mid to lower back here, and then we got the mid to upper back here. Bladders, prostates. We just got a guy that needs to go into his body and get it well. And I think if you really got a good picture, these might not be as deep as they appear here, which is good, Matt. So I'm just taking off of these eyes. It's enough to say, though, these are all weaknesses. They might not be as weak as I'm seeing here if a proper color picture would present itself. It's enough to say, though, Matt, these are all up in the brain. You got to get to it. You got to get up there and get these out of here because, you know, classic, nothing ever good ever happens with these things, especially the darker they are, like this right side. All right. That should do it with our eye pictures, and we thank you all for doing that. I'll close this off here, and we really appreciate it. I got a lot of calls to do, and so we thank you all, and I hope that's all very helpful to you. I'm really a big fan of education. We are a society that has been duped in so many ways, and I'm sure you could go back and say it's just man's unconsciousness, which is what you would have to do spiritually to realize that it's just sleeping, a sleeping consciousness, and you see what happens with that. So it's always better to be an awakened one. You know, the question always in spirituality is it's better to know or not know, because the more you know, obviously, the more you see, the more things are quite not what you think they are. In governments and everything else, to the sleeping, they don't know any better. So there's that catch-22. It's awakening again. God's awakening in its creation, going whoops. So that's why you light bulbs are all out there. So I love you all. I hope this helps you. You guys get your health together and have some fun with it too. And I'll talk to you again as soon as possible. And I'm always with you guys. Keep that in mind. And we're working as a team. Okay? Thank you all. Have a fun day.